I just look at who is attacking our country and our culture, and it's not Islam, it's Judaism. I mean, Judaism is what is pushing the transgenders on us. That is who's controlling the media. That's who's controlling Hollywood. That's who's launching this attack on masculinity. That's who's attacking the launch on or this attack on whiteness. They're launching these attacks on everything that I am, and that's not coming from the Muslim community.
All right, guys, look at the screen. Today, we have to talk about an explosive off-script moment that completely derailed the usual talking points. Alex Jones sat down with Dan Bilzerian, and if you thought this was just going to be 2 hours of them nodding along with each other, you are dead wrong. Jones tried to bait Bilzerian into a massive, generalized rant against Islam, and Bilzerian absolutely dismantled the narrative in real time. He refused to play the game. Instead, he dropped a truth bomb about who is actually pulling the strings in the West. Let's break this down.
I want to be clear about Islam. I've studied it in depth. It's been around only 1,400 years. The Crusades were a response to 700 years of invasion. They took over most of Spain. They went into Poland. The Serbs held them back over 100 attacks. They took down Constantinople, the eastern, what was left of the Roman Empire. They almost took Rome repeatedly and the Vatican 3 times. They conquered Sicily, part of Italy. I don't want to kill the Muslims. I don't hate them because they're Muslim. I know the sects, the groups, all of it. It is an expansionist military manual. That said, people go, well, you're either with the Muslims or with Israel. That's like saying, am I with a rattlesnake or a cobra? It's like, I'm not going to get put a cobra or a rattlesnake in my bed with me or jump in a pit full of them. So I've even seen Tucker, who I like a lot, respect, and even Megyn Kelly go, because Israel's so bad now, I'm pro-Islam. But I agree, we treat them with respect. Those that are reforming, like the UAE, we work with. We all need to do this. I want a reformation in Islam. I'm just saying the left's alliance with Islam is truly sickening. The transgenders out praising him when they throw him off a cliff. All I'm saying is, even the UAE and Saudi Arabia has warned us, we're exporting the very worst, most radical elements of the West. And then the Western governments use the threat of radical Islam to take our liberties away. So what is your view on the balance here? Because to me, I don't see it as 2 separate deals. Just because I don't like what Israel's doing and oppose it doesn't mean I have to then throw them with the Muslims. Does that make sense?
All right, here is exactly what happened. Alex Jones attempts to steer the conversation into a civilizational clash. He starts throwing out historical cliff notes, calling Islam an expansionist military manual, and trying to frame an entire global population of billions as the core threat to Western liberty. It's the classic distraction tactic. Get the working class. Get the everyday citizen looking overseas or looking at immigrants so they don't look up at the elite institutions currently selling out their country. But Bilzerian didn't take the bait. He hit the brakes immediately.
No, I listen, I just look at who is attacking our country and our culture, and it's not Islam, it's Judaism. I mean, Judaism is what is pushing the transgenders on us. That is who's controlling the media. That's who's controlling Hollywood. That's who's, launching this attack on masculinity. That's who's attacking the launch on, or this attack on whiteness. They're launching these attacks on everything that I am, and that's not coming from the Muslim community. And everybody wants to point at all these problems when the Muslim immigrants come in, but they don't talk about who is funding the NGOs that is pushing these open borders. That's Soros, that's Zuckerberg, and Charlie Kirk talked about this. He said all the people that are funding the NGOs that are pushing open borders are predominantly Jewish, and they're going to have to answer to that. And I think that's something that's just getting swept under the rug. And when you get these Muslims in here from war-torn countries, you're going to have problems, but you have the same problems when you get poor Mexicans in here. You have the same problems when you get, poor people from Africa, from Ethiopia, which is predominantly Christian. And it's not because those people are Christian. Mexicans are mostly Christian as well. It's not because of their religion. It's because they're poor and they're coming to a country that they don't have allegiance to.
When Jones tried to pin the collapse of Western culture on a monolithic religious invasion, Bilzerian flipped the script entirely. He pointed out the uncomfortable reality that corporate media and establishment politicians refuse to touch. People aren't flooding across borders because of a grand religious conspiracy. They are fleeing war, instability, and economic ruin crises, overwhelmingly engineered by disastrous Western foreign policies, endless wars, and sanctions. And who is funding the NGOs pushing for open borders? Bilzerian named names. He pointed directly to the billionaire class. He pointed to George Soros, Mark Zuckerberg, and the elite donor networks that fund the policies tearing the West apart from the inside. Bilzerian correctly identified that it's not a religious war, it is a class and power war.
Have you run into Randy Fine yet on the campaign trail? I think he's probably the worst Zionist in Congress, and that says a lot. I mean, I see him in videos like, we can't allow people to criticize Israel. Even if you say Zionist, we're going to throw you in jail, and you're running against him. I guess that's why you chose to do that.
Well, it's not just the anti-Semitism laws that he's passed. It is the fact that he has said the most vile things on the planet about Muslims. So it just shows the absolute hypocrisy, because he's saying that he wants to basically kill all Muslims, that they're lower than dogs. If he has to choose between dogs and Muslims, it's an easy choice. And you know, whatever your view is on Muslims, you can't dehumanize a quarter of the globe and then whine about anti-Semitism, right? Like, it's just like the hypocrisy is what really pisses me off. I find it very hypocritical that the anti-Semitism laws that he passed, if he were to say all the things that he says about Muslims, about Jews, he would be in jail for 5 years based on the laws that he passed in this district. He wants to send our tax dollars to Israel. He's advocated for us nuking Gaza. He wants the streets of Gaza to run with Palestinian blood. He said that Muslims are lower than dogs. I mean, this guy is the most vile Jewish supremacist that we have. And to me, that is the greatest threat to the world today.
This brings us to the absolute peak hypocrisy of the political establishment. In this same breakdown, we see the spotlight put on politicians like Randy Fine. We are living in a system where a politician can advocate for the total annihilation of Gaza, say that Muslims are lower than dogs, and face zero institutional pushback. But the second anyone questions the lobbying power of foreign nations, the financial structures of the elite, or the military-industrial complex sending our tax dollars overseas, suddenly they want to throw you in jail for hate speech. Bilzerian forced the conversation back to where it belongs: systems of power, political lobbying, and media narratives. It is incredibly easy to scapegoat a religion or blame the poorest people fleeing war zones. It takes actual guts to look at the billionaires, the NGOs, and the corrupt political class sitting right here at home and hold them accountable. Bilzerian saw the establishment trap, and he refused to step in it. I want to hear from you. Did Bilzerian expose a massive blind spot in this debate? Do you think the media is deliberately pushing the civilizational clash to protect the elite class? Drop your thoughts in the comments below right now. And listen, we are pushing hard to hit our 1,000 subscriber milestone this week. If you want unapologetic, hard-hitting geopolitical commentary that refuses to stick to the corporate script, hit that subscribe button right now. This is the Whitmore Brief. I'm James Whitmore. I'll see you in the next one.